All right, D. So Joy Taylor pretty much said some stuff about Brock Purdy, and it's nothing new. She just added to the list of people saying stuff. But let's check this out. We'll talk about it.
What in the world would it take for Brock Purdy to win MVP this season?
A time machine.
Time machine.
Back to week 5.
Why?
Why week 5?
Because we know too much. I know too much. You know when somebody shows up brand new, you know what I mean? And they feeling good, they flexing a little bit, and you like, good for you. But you know too much. You know what I mean? You know where they got the car from. You know what I mean? You know where the suit. You know, like you just like, all right,
your brother's shoes.
I ain't gonna hate. I ain't gonna hate. Like I'm not gonna hate, but I know too much. So just keep that over there. Brock Purdy has played at a really high level throughout the entire season, except for those 3 weeks, and that was the period. That's the time when you show I'm that guy. It doesn't matter we don't have Trent Williams. It doesn't matter we don't have Debo. We don't got to blow people out the way that we're blowing everybody else out. We don't care. All the wins and losses count the same. They don't get extra points because they blew the Cowboys out. They don't get extra points because they blew the Eagles out or the Jags or anybody else. Win the games. Win one of the games.
Explain for clarity, because I know what you're talking about. We've talked about it off camera. What do you know? Go back to that 3-week span. Who was absent?
Trent Williams wasn't there. Debo wasn't there.
Debo.
The defense was also struggling. They went 0-3. He had 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 6 giveaways, had a passer rating of 77. All the other games, a passer rating of 129. He's 20-1 touchdown to interception. He's a whole different quarterback. So it's not to say that he's not a great quarterback when everyone's available. But if you have to immediately include a qualifier, if we're talking about the most valuable player, it's tough for me to put you in that spot. Now, does he play the most valuable position? Yes. What happened in the postseason NFC Championship game? He gets taken out the game, they lose. So, yes, he does play the most important and vital position to any NFL team. But you're not the most valuable player on your own team on your side of the ball. And you're not even the second most valuable player. You're not even the third most valuable player. Best player. You've got Trent Williams, got Debo Samuel, you got Christian McCaffrey. So when we're talking about the most valuable player, it's not shade to what Brock Purdy is capable of. It's just acknowledging what he's also not capable of.
All right, man. Seeing that, pretty much he cannot be the MVP because of the 3-game stretch, where he didn't have Trent Williams or Debo Samuel. It's looking like I think there will be a lot of writers, because I think it's 50 writers altogether that make the decision. There are going to be people just like her saying this stuff, which I think is crazy. But how do you feel about it, man?
I mean, with Joy, there's only 2 reasons why she's even on there in the first place. Other than that, I mean, I don't really care about her opinion, and I'm not trying to be all sexist and all that shit, but she never played the fucking game, and if it wasn't for her brother, no one would even know who the hell she is. I will give her this, that sometimes she does she's earned the job, so she does know her sports in a sense, but she's one of those people that she lets her emotions get the best of her. And then sometimes she brings politics into it. And then there's times where the Niners, man, when the Niners beat the Seahawks, she didn't even want to give them props. She's like, well, I guess they're the best team. They're the best team to beat. And it was all fucking salty about it. And then so of course when it comes to Purdy, she's gonna do everything she can to bash. No, he don't deserve it. And it's the same narrative that every analyst is saying that, without Debo, without Trent. But man, what this guy is doing, Brock Purdy, is he's having a historical season. And he's still in line with Dak. Dak has probably 3 people right now are at the race. So it's Purdy, Dak, and then maybe Tyreek if he sneaks in there for the MVP. If today didn't show you that without Tyreek, Miami sucks without Tyreek, man. So he's got to be in the conversation for MVP. But other than that, it's really between Purdy and Dak. And with Dak, look at who he's faced, man. Look at that division. He's had to go against the Giants. He's had to go against all these crappy teams. I believe the Seahawks was the first 500 team before they beat Philly. The Seahawks were the first 500 team they beat. Other than that, it was all losing scheduled teams that they beat. Washington. And so with that moving forward, look how Brock Purdy, they destroyed Jacksonville. Even with the games that they lost, they were still competitive. He had some bad turnovers, but those were only really bad games that he had. Other than that, he's thrown the ball like efficient out of everybody. Dak has thrown 100 times more than Brock Purdy, and they're still at the same level of touchdowns, which is insane. They still have the same. I think Dak has one or two more touchdowns than Purdy, and they both have like about the same interception. Other than that, Dak has played cheaper teams. He's thrown a lot more, and he's still in line with Purdy.
And Purdy has more yards too.
And Purdy has more yards, more percentage, and he's having like one of like the best like ratings since they were talking about. He just passed Kurt Warner, so he's like up there on like having an historic season as far as like MVP season if it goes for quarterbacks. And so moving forward, man, this narrative, just because he's the last pick, they're gonna continue to bash him. Oh, without Trent, without Debo, without McCaffrey. But man, name me a quarterback, maybe besides Tom Brady, who's really won games efficiently without any weapons. Look what's happening to Patrick Mahomes, man, without Cheetah and just Travis Kelce. Now that they have no weapons, look at him. He's the only quarterback that's a two-time champion. I don't think anyone in the league right now has more than Patrick Mahomes. Look at him with no weapons. He's having a struggling season. And so you look at everybody, man, they all need weapons. So that's why it's such a BS like topic, like when narrative, when they just say like, oh, like weapons this, weapons that. It's like, bro, like name me a team that doesn't have any weapons.
Yeah, it seems like they're holding it against them like more than any quarterback in NFL history. Like I've never heard anyone when Peyton Manning was around with, oh, well, he has Marvin Harrison. Oh, well, he had Edgerrin James the first few years. Oh, he had Clark, all these weapons. He had Stokely, all these dudes that were like studs. You know, who's the other guy from that he also had, the other receiver that was an absolute stud?
It was Reggie Wayne?
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
Dude, Reggie Wayne was a monster.
Yeah.
But they never, ever said anything about that. But all of a sudden, because it's Brock Purdy, maybe because he's the last pick in the draft, maybe because he's not the biggest, they're just ripping him saying, oh, he's ineligible. He's ineligible. Like, come on, dude. It's absolutely insane. And I think last year he did play without Debo because Debo got hurt last year. And he played without him. He played good, really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, because what I saw from him in that 3-game losing streak, I thought he did pretty good too. Like he was actually, even though he scored 17 points,
and he was concussed.
He was concussed, everything, and he one game he almost threw for 400 yards, and so.
And in the Cleveland game, we got it to the red zone. We just missed a kick.
And how many games? Yeah, like exactly how Patrick Mahomes, you were saying, he's so many. I think how many games like this? Like 5 games without even scoring 20 points.
Yeah.
And then everyone's all saying, "Oh, well, it's because of Tony. Tony sucks." It's like, okay, but why are you saying all this stuff about Purdy? You know,
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. To me, it doesn't make sense that they're doing this. And yeah, Joy, it's just adding to the media. All these people in the media are just going off and saying all this crazy stuff. And I heard that guy was in Greg Jennings too. He kind of pissed me off. He said some stuff today too, which I was just like rolling my eyes, like, oh my gosh, it's never ending, man. It's just an avalanche. It just keeps coming. I really like Greg Olson that he just says, dude, enough with this stupid narrative. Like all these people, every week it's like a new thing. Oh well, he can't do this, he can't do that. It's a joke, man. It's absolutely a joke. And Joy Taylor, man, I don't know, man.
But also like the difference is with Nick Wright, at least it's funny. Like with him and Cowherd, they do it like where it's hilarious. So like where Nick Wright will always bring up Jimmy G and it's like always laughs. Colin Cowherd, I don't know, man. He's got his hat backwards. So like, you know, like it's they're doing it for entertainment and that they do give him their props at the end of the day. So that's why I don't really, those narratives aren't as bad. But when you look at like Jennings that you mentioned and Joy Taylor, dude, they're just freaking salty, man. You can just tell that on today's show when after the 49ers beat the Seahawks, like, dude, she didn't want to give the Niners any narrative about like, oh, they're the best team. And she's like, well, like, I feel like if I say anything against them too, like the fans come at me. And it's like, dude, it's because you're biased, man. You're biased on your favorite teams and anything with them Miami. Like, she's like, yeah.
Of course, loves Miami because her brother played for Miami. So obviously she's like not really like feeling it. She kind of has that Skip Bayless effect, you know, Cowboys. It's all about the Cowboys. So I don't know, man. It just seems like,
yeah, I just don't like how she like she just like she makes it like she's super biased and then she's salty about it because at least like even when Nick Wright, even when he's wrong, he's not salty about it. He like laughs about it and he's like, oh well, you know, like he had a good game, this and that. And one thing that they don't talk about Brock Purdy is that where they don't give him props and it's not talked about enough, This guy was supposed to be out for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Usually when you have that, was it the
UCL?
Yeah, UCL injury, you're out for a year, man. And look at like the baseball players. Some of them don't even recover after throwing when they have that injury. Most people are out more within like 2 years or after that surgery.
And he didn't have that surgery though. Remember, it was something else. But
the fact that he had that injury
exactly.
though, and that he came back and that he started the season because they thought that he was going to be out during the season. They were like, oh, they might have to go with Trey, with half of the season, see if Brock could come back in the middle of the season. So we didn't even know, he missed a lot of the training camps with the injury. And so with him making that comeback with the start of the season, playing and having this historic season, that's not talked about enough, man. That's a guy that got injured during our playoffs. It showed when he wasn't on the field how bad we were without him. So with him being on the field, with having a historic season, getting everybody a lot of love with Juwan Jennings, McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, everybody's been touching him, man. That. To me, that's we haven't seen that for Niner fans in a long time.
Yeah.
Even when we had what's the name, Kaepernick, he was always only throwing it to either Anquan one season or Crabtree. When we didn't have Anquan, he was only throwing it to Crabtree. Those were his only guys that he was really throwing it. He wasn't really facilitating to everybody, and that was when we had a winning season. With this guy, man, he's just dumping it to everybody. He's getting everybody involved. And that's why they're making the excuses. They're well, it's because of this guy. It's because of that guy.
No, exactly. And that actually makes him look more better because 4 guys that could hit 1,000 yards. As far as McCaffrey, 1,000 yards, and you got Debo, he's on pace 1,000. Ayuk, I think, just got 1,000. He could be wrong. And then Kittle, 1,000. That has to do everything with Purdy, man. Purdy's he's finding the open guy, and it proves it. Get all these guys getting the yak yards. He's proving it that, dude, I'm not gonna just focus laser around on one guy. Because remember Kaepernick this last year, he was lasering on one guy, and if no one was open, he would throw that ball. It would either be incomplete interception. But dude, Purdy, he's so smart, and that's what people aren't getting him credit for, man. It's absolutely amazing what he's doing.
And I really love how he adapts, like you were saying. If you look at the Seahawks game, what happened in the first quarter, first play, McCaffrey has that big old run. After that, when they were up 10-7, they were shutting down McCaffrey. They were making sure that he wasn't getting the ball at all. What happened? He adapted, and then Debo had some huge catches with the deep ball. Kittle was getting involved. And so you saw that when Sam Darnold was talking about dude, I never seen a quarterback where he just adapts, and then how smart he is. His IQ is out of this world. It's the way he's able to read certain situations, read certain coverages, and he's able to make plays happen. And man, he doesn't get enough credit, man. They just want to hate on him just because he's the last pick.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, man. And it's gonna keep happening until the season's over, and he's got to get that chip. But at the end of the day, he really doesn't care about it, but he knows that, whatever they say, it doesn't matter to him. It doesn't affect him. He's cool, calm. If you saw him on Sunday when Jerry Rice was like, hey, what's up? Most guys would be like, hey, what's going on? He gave him a handshake and back to business, back to practice, ready for the game.
Yeah.
That's a stud right there. So, keep hating. It doesn't matter. He's not affected by it. That guy's a man. And just let us know what you guys think, though. Let us know if you agree with it, disagree. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time.